Welcome back to another video. As you can see, the engine has come out of the car, which is up there, and I did not film doing that, even though it would be hilarious, but due to time I did it off camera, and of course the camera stand is a little bit in the way. So let's look around this engine. To be fair, I'm not going to personally use this engine, and so yeah, it came out kind of violently. We dropped it out of the bottom of the car. That's the subframe. It's still on the car because this is, yeah, it's open underneath. It looks like this, and of course, if you look up there, I did something that you shouldn't do, which is dropping the pog oil and Freon inside. You know, cut the hose and run, but that's fine. That's my magnet. We broke the fan a little bit, and you know, something's just, I cut something because I was pissed off. I had to get this thing out. And also, in order, I'm not going to put this engine in any car. So it's a high miler, but it runs. I believe it has had a head gasket issue because, you know, hoses and, you know, stuff. There's a light here. If I turn off my, yeah, the coolant system has this kind of oily, there's a thermostat in there. It has this oily, watery, messy stuff inside, but that's all fine. The engine was running somewhat decent, so. But we can now look around this 2-liter engine. I took off the air compressor. This alternator, yeah, it's reusable. It's charging, so save that. Save the engine for parts. But mainly the reason why I took it out, don't mind, big mess, is because of this turbo that sits behind here. And it's a on the black car. I did remove this turbo in the car. Was a pain in the ass to do. It actually, the removal of the engine, I did most of that work myself. I needed a little bit of help to get it out all the way, but that's fine. We just lowered onto this pallet, and as you can see at the back here, I have to remove this turbo to inspect it. It didn't have any bad sounds. It sounded fine, and you know, it's a high miler turbo, but it looks kind of good. Although it does have a little bit of oil, but I believe that's not a lot of oil. You know, it's a diesel turbo, so they should have oil in there. You know, this turbo is, you know, that's the exhaust part. You know, it's exhaust. And this turbo doesn't actually leak in the same place as the other ones because, you know, you can see, you know, it's rusty, but it's, you know, it's somewhat clean. Although the other is actually leaking from this part right here. So that actually blows soot all over the turbo. So on the other turbo, all this is black. And so in order to remove this turbo, you have all the studs in here. There's the EGR cooler pipe. The EGR cooler is sitting on the top of this. Fairly easy to remove. It's two bolts there, and a clamp. This top one is already loose because I had to take the cover off to get the engine out. And I will film the removal of this turbo, and then I'm gonna have this inspected. If it checks out fine, I will just put new gaskets on it and use it, because I have a new gasket kit. I have new manifold gaskets that goes here, and I also have a gasket kit for the turbo because we had a leak here. I can actually show you because I have another turbo right here. As you can see, this is the problem where it leaks. You can actually fit, you can put your fingernails between there. You can actually see that. Sorry. You can actually see the gasket's gone. And the main reason is this turbo is a lower mileage turbo than the other one. But as you can see, all of this is black, and that's because it actually leaks exhaust from this part on this axle here. Because this thing has slack in it, and this shaft in here has some slack in it, so it leaks exhaust there too. Even though the compressor part is fine, I believe the reason why this turbo has let go of the gaskets right here is because either this nut hasn't been done up correctly, or it's because it blows out. So because the movement of the fans in this turbo is a little bit slower, although there might be just a bearing that's tighter, because this one has barely any oil in it, but there has been some signs of moisture in here, although this has been properly lubricated. But as you can see, it's drier than the other one. And also you can see in here, you know, it's barely anything in here. It's very hard to get the light and the camera in at the same time. As you can see, you know, that's how clean this has not been cleaned out, and that's all there's in it. So that's why I actually want to reuse this turbo, because it is in a lot better condition. But the main issue is that shaft right there. Not this shaft, but the shaft that goes through the wastegate inside of this housing here, or the valve. It's leaking exhaust from that shaft, so that's the main problem with this turbo. And of course it leaks through here. You know, it takes a lot of force to blow out that gasket, or the previous owner did not tighten that bolt and blew the gasket out. That also might be the culprit. So maybe this turbo is fine, but you know, the compressor part in here, the fans, they are in good condition. Even though it doesn't look brand new, it's not too bad. I've seen a lot worse. I actually had a lot worse. So, and of course it is a Garrett turbo. So that's going to be it for this engine right now, and I will be back with the removal of the turbo soon. Thank you. See you later. Wait guys, we forgot to start to take apart this turbo. So I am going to do this in a time-lapse video for you guys. So it will be nice and quick.